Hey guys, welcome back to the 401 Files. The title of this video is What a Load of Bullets! The UFO Congressional Hearing 2024. This video here, I'll be dissecting what I think was said and sharing a few of my thoughts, feelings, theories, beliefs. Because in all honesty, I haven't even watched it. And nor am I going to. So straight away, why haven't I watched it? Why have I not been glued to my chair, probing every single word they say in the hopes that there is some new information at hand, or some interesting information at least? Well, I've mentioned this before in previous videos. It's the same thing. They say the same thing, just said differently. They use different words. They use different vocabulary to explain exactly the same as all the other hearings before it. And what is the definition of insanity? It's doing something repeatedly, over and over again, exactly the same, and expecting different results. These people are insane. They're insane. I am not going to sit and waste my time listening in the hopes that they share some new information about UFOs or the existence of extraterrestrials. Now, what I will say is I do honestly believe that there will be people who attend these conferences, these congressional hearings, to speak about UFOs, and they have genuinely the people's best interests at heart. I do believe there will be people there that feel like they're making breakthroughs, feel like they're making progress, and maybe even getting closer to the truth. But I feel embarrassed for those people. I really do. Because what they don't know is that off to the side, standing away in the shadows, are the real game players. And those people have all the cards. They know all the moves before they even happen. It's like playing a game of poker. Okay, you're playing a game of poker, and behind you is a hidden mirror. It doesn't matter how good your hand is. It doesn't matter what information you have here. The person there will see the mirror and what you're holding and know when to play and when to pull out. They have all the answers. And occasionally that person might let you win, might let you have a few victories along the way, just so that you don't suspect something. And that's what's happening here with these congressional hearings, is that we're sat in front of a mirror showing all our cards. If for 1 second they believed we had information of a top secret nature and we was just going to release that however we wanted to the public, that person would be killed. I would stake my life on this. If I had information right now and I was of some power, I was of some place of authority where I could release this to the public using media outlets, the newspapers, the radio. If I had that information and I released it whenever I wanted to whoever I wanted, I would be killed. It's as simple as that. You have to follow procedures. There's a protocol at hand that people who want to talk about these things have to follow. So as I've already mentioned, I didn't watch the congressional hearing. I saved myself the time, the upset, and I don't allow myself to get excited anymore because, like I've said, they are all the same. They say the same, just in a different way. But I will bet I know how it went. I bet they spoke about old UFO cases. I bet they tried to increase the drama behind what they were saying by using fancy language and making it seem like some kind of a Johnny Depp courtroom trial. It's not. It shouldn't be romanticized. It shouldn't be glorified and turned into some kind of reality TV thing. It should be real. Like, I can't explain what I'm trying to say, but it's almost a bit of a freak show now when people get together to talk about UFOs. It's like, how can we word things to make it seem mystical and, get people on the edge of the seat and get them interested and drip feed them what we want them to know, but hold this stuff back. I hate all that. Just come out with what you've got, say it as it is. Don't cut corners. Be black and white. Be transparent. Although when I'm saying this now, I know that's why I don't watch it. Because they can't do those things. To do those things, they would say, is a risk to national security. And it's lucky for them that they have that term to fall back on. Because it saves them from so much. It saves them from public scrutiny. It saves them from actually being genuine and honest. It means that they can hold back whatever they want because it's a threat to public and national security. If they didn't have that, can you imagine what their excuses would be on holding back certain bits of information? I think that the nations all around the world should get together so they don't have that. Let's all get together. Let's all sit around a table in one room. Let's televise this so the public can hear what's being said in live time. And let's just talk openly about what you know, what I know, what Russia knows, what China knows, what the UK and America knows. Let's put it all on the table. And anything that we are working on, top secret, let's just not even mention that stuff. That's fine. We don't need to know about your top secret aviation endeavours. We don't need to know about your subs. We don't need to know about your fleet. We don't need to know about your military, boots on the ground stuff. All we're talking about right here is things that you don't know, things that you did not create, things that did not come from you. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about it. But again, it's not as easy as that, because the minute someone says, oh, well, actually, we saw these lights that were traveling at 22,000 miles an hour, they were able to shoot off into space, flow in low Earth orbit, skimming the ground, and then also dive below the ocean's waves and become a submersible. When they start talking about things like that, if it was the UK who designed that, or America who designed that, what are they going to say? Oh, actually, yeah, that one there, that was us. Everybody would be like, damn! Say what? Yeah, it is. It's a minefield. It's tricky. But I don't. If you're going to watch these, I often think about this, right? If you're going to watch the UFO congressional hearings, why are you doing that? Is it because you like to hear about the subject? You just genuinely like to hear people talking about it? Because if that is the case, then that's fair play. That's good. If it's because you're going there in the hopes to find out new information or to hear them confess that we aren't alone, you're wasting your time. That will never happen in our lifetime. It would take something major on a big scale for them to even acknowledge that that is the case. Something else that makes life hard for these people at these congressional UFO hearings is they're already up against it. The minute they walk in that room, they'll be briefed on what they can and cannot speak about. They'll be all fully aware that there is such a thing called national security, and to mention certain things within that room would be deemed dangerous. So they're already now very hyper vigilant as to how they're saying things, what they're saying, in the way that they're saying it. And that's never a good start when we're looking for transparency and people to be honest. Another thing as well, which obviously limits these people from speaking openly and honestly, is science. Science is a great tool. I'll be the first to speak openly about this. When used right, science is a great tool, but science has evolved, and not for the best. In fact, it's evolved for the worst. I hear scientists now giving opinions, like opinions that shouldn't really exist in science until it's been proven as fact. Brian Cox, for example, springs to mind. He'll often share his opinion, how he believes that life doesn't exist, or life, if it does exist, is microbial, and these stupid accusations or claims. Why are you claiming that if life exists it's probably microbial? Have you done tests? Have you searched the entire universe? All right, what I don't understand why it works like that now. Back in the day when science was trying to find out what the hell it stood for, people would refrain from saying things like that and making accusations or claims or sharing their beliefs or sharing their opinions because they needed to do tests first, and until the tests proved one way or the other, they wouldn't really say much at all on a certain subject. But scientists don't do that these days. It's kind of weird how it's changed. So you've got to bear this in mind. When these congressional members are walking into the room, they've been briefed, they'll be told about things they can and can't talk about. They'll also be fully aware of national security, and now on top of that, science is making them afraid of looking like idiots. You need people like me, basically. And I don't mean that in a big-headed way. I mean that in the sense that I don't really give a shit what I sound like. I don't care if I make mistakes. I don't care if, I make a claim and it's wildly wrong. I'll go back to the drawing board. I'll have learned something new. I'll never say it again. And from that point, I'll move forward and progress and evolve and know a bit more next time round. That's what you need. You need someone who's like a bit of a renegade, who's not scared of rocking the boat, who isn't there to make friends or sound, intellectual, Because a lot of the time as well, that is a big part of it. We need people to stand out from the crowd, people to actually speak their mind and not the minds of other people. It's a difficult thing. And the saving grace in all of this, for those people in that room giving the congressional hearing, is that they do have this phrase that they like to throw around called national security. And I really wish in some cases that they didn't, because it's like, where would they hide then? Every time we ask them questions, every time they're about to speak on a certain subject regarding the UFO phenomena, they have to double check themselves. Like, oh, I can't speak about that here because of national security. I'll speak about that. What? No, come on. If you're openly wanting to be transparent, if you're openly wanting to give the people the information that you know that you have to hand, then show that. Be willing to overstep the mark, take a risk, and be honest. Be honest. People are ready. People have been ready for many generations. I remember my dad, you know, his generation and people of that generation always believed that it would be in their lifetime that they find out. And I'm sure if you went back to the generation before that, people would have been saying the same. We've been saying this forever. Every generation that comes and goes, we always think it'll be in our lifetime, and it never is. It never is. It's demoralizing. When you look at us humans as a race, what progress have we made, really? We're still very suspiciously secretive, even with our own people. I get that keeping certain bits of information from one country to the next is of our best interest, but when do we evolve? When do we look past that? When do we unite and do what's right for this planet and the people on it? Or is it always just going to be decisions made out of fear? Are we always just going to be watching every word we say because we are scared that Russia or China might get this information? We can't live like that. If we do have information on UFOs, if we do know the inner workings of a UFO, or what extraterrestrials are doing here, if we have this information, do something with it. Don't just write a book, don't go on a podcast, don't do a congressional hearing. Let's actually make some real big changes. Start telling people where they've come from. Tell them the information that you do know. Maybe it's their agenda, maybe it's what they're doing here, how long they've been here. Tell them that kind of stuff, because that is factual. That is a big blow. We don't get anywhere close to that. Never. It's all speculation. And people might say, but Ben, they just generally might not know. And I'd say, do you really believe that? Do you really believe that they genuinely don't know? And the only information that they still have is that, oh, right, well, actually, there is something, but we just don't know what it is. Come on, guys. They know. They know. And with the technology that we've got today, you know, even with the very small section of the universe that we know about, given the technology that we've got today, they know. They know it's brimming with life. There are extraterrestrials of many different shapes and sizes, with many different agendas, the whole range of the spectrum, let's just say, visiting this planet. And they know this. From good to bad, indifferent. They know that this planet is being visited. They know that we're not alone and haven't been for a very long time. Have we ever got anywhere close to those kind of words, to that kind of sentence, that kind of sentiment being made? Never. I can't think of a time when anyone has even remotely said those words. And it's just boring now for me, like listening to the congressional hearing and the way that they do try to dramatize everything and use fancy language to make themselves seem intellectual and of a high intelligence. Get over yourself. It's not about you. It's about what your commanding officers are reporting. It's about what the guys on the ground are experiencing. Let's talk about that in as much goddamn detail as possible. Without worry, without fear. And I'm not talking about ridicule, I'm talking about pressures from outside sources. Until we can get rid of those barriers and people can actually speak openly and honestly, at will, about whatever, whenever they want, we're never going to progress. We're never going to get anywhere. We're doing the same song and dance, and we have been for forever. I don't think I'll ever find out in my lifetime, if I'm honest. They can do as many congressional hearings as they want. They can sit together at a table and speak fanciful words to each other if it makes them feel good. I don't think I'll ever find out. I don't even think those people sat at that table will find out. Because as I've mentioned, it's those in the shadows overlooking the words that they're saying and scrutinizing everything that they're saying. Those in the shadows, they're the people that know. I'm a dad, right? I've got 3 children, and sometimes when I'm playing ball with my son, I'll pretend that I did terrible or he just did amazingly well. And I'm like, whoa, Oliver, that was so good. How did you do that? That's kind of the treatment that they're giving us. We are the children. They're making us believe that we're making progress, that we're achieving something. When in actual fact, they're just throwing us a bone, basically, to make us feel good, to make us feel like we've made progress, to make us feel like it's all worthwhile sitting around a table and talking about the same things that we spoke about throughout every congressional hearing. Oh no, you guys are doing really well. Honestly, you've made progress. You've got lots of views coming in. Everybody seems to be really interested in this UFO subject. You keep doing what you're doing. Meanwhile, what they're thinking is, because while you do, we're listening to everything that you're speaking about, realizing that you've got no information, you're way off the mark with your claims, and yeah, this is a great way for us to keep tabs on everything. So yeah, brilliant. Keep it going, guys. Pat on the back. Anyway, you guys will have to let me know what you think about the congressional hearing. I'd like to go into more depth about all this, but as I've said, I haven't watched it, nor will I be. I'm going to keep getting my information from different sources, different outlets, from people that I trust, people that aren't scared to be a maverick, people that aren't scared to be the black sheep, take risks, step across the line, and speak openly without fear of punishment.
Elizondo, you state in your testimony that, quote, advanced technologies not by our government or any other government are monitoring sensitive military installations around the globe, end quote. If these technologies are not made by any government, who's making them? Private companies, or are you implying they are crafted by a non-human intelligence? Okay.
When it comes to Blue Force Technologies, I would not be able to discuss.
Okay. Are you read into secret UAP crash retrieval programs?
We would have to have a conversation in a closed session, ma'am. I signed documentation 3 years ago that restricts my ability to discuss specifically crash retrievals. I submitted for my book through the DOPSR process, which took a year.